Should I buy a house or should I buy a condo? This is a question that many home buyers, especially first-time buyers, have when they're thinking about making a move and purchasing real estate here in Manitoba. See, when you buy a property, not only are you making a significant financial decision and an investment, but it's also a pretty important lifestyle decision as well. So you definitely want to make sure that you're not making a mistake with that purchase decision. Now, if you purchase a condo, you could be buying into a more hassle-free and maintenance-free lifestyle. But when you buy a house, you're buying a property that potentially gives you a little more freedom and a little bit more privacy. The reality is that there are many pros and cons to both condos and houses that should be carefully considered. The goal with this episode of Keepin It Realty is to show you the pros and the cons of purchasing a condo so that you can make your own well-informed purchase decision and so that you don't have any regrets down the line. Thank you so much for continuing to check out these videos. If you enjoy this kind of content, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with a friend or family member, and please subscribe to the channel for more awesome stuff like this in the future. It definitely helps with my business and it's very much appreciated. Alternatively, if you're looking to make a move to Winnipeg or Manitoba surrounding areas, or if you have any general questions about real estate, please don't hesitate to reach out to me anytime. I'm always happy to help. My contact info is in the description below. Now, without further ado, let's get to the video. First of all, to start things off, it's important to mention that when most people think about condos, they tend to think about the apartment style or the high-rise condo units. But in actuality, a condo is technically a style of shared ownership, not necessarily a style of building. Condos can come in all types, shapes, and sizes. You have the classic apartment style units that are part of a larger building or development. You have the side-by-side or townhouse style units, and you can also have bare land condos where there's a single family detached home on the lot and you simply pay a small fee for things like lawn care and snow removal and to be a part of an exclusive community. When you're buying a condo, you're buying a lifestyle, and that typically comes with things like less maintenance and less hassle. The idea is that instead of worrying about lawn care or yard maintenance, things like cutting grass, picking weeds, or shoveling snow in the wintertime, you simply turn the key to your unit and enjoy living. The condo fees that you and all the other owners pay are designed to cover all of that maintenance so that you can instead use that time for other things like going to your favorite bar or restaurant, or maybe you have a busy career and your work-life balance doesn't give much leeway for things like house maintenance. Typically, condos are also a lot cheaper than houses per square foot. And that's because you're not purchasing the land, you're just buying what you need, which is a nice place and a nice unit to live in with some amenities. Along with maintenance being covered in the condo fees, there can also be other things included in those fees, such as utilities like water, heat, cable, internet, gas, etc. Depending on the development, there may even be a parking stall or two included, either outside or inside, underground, depending on the building. A portion of those condo fees should also go into a collective reserve fund to pay for future repairs to the building and to the development. Now, those are some pretty big pros to buying a condo, but there are also some things that you need to watch out for. The big one here is that reserve fund. And what happens if repairs are needed to the building and to the development? What happens if the condo building or development needs a large ticket repair, like a new roof, an elevator, or the repaving of an entire parking lot, and there's simply not enough money in the collective reserve fund to cover those costs? If there's not enough money in the reserve fund, this could lead to a cash call. This is where the condo corp has the right to backcharge each unit owner and make you essentially pay out of pocket. The amount that would be paid by each owner is based on the percentage of ownership of that unit in the entire development. Typically, once the reserve is depleted or drained, the condo corp also has the ability to increase the condo fees by a certain percentage until the balance of that reserve fund is back up to where it needs to be. Now, every decision of whether or not to repair something or not is also made collectively by the condo board, which is typically a group of unit owners that are appointed specific positions within that board. And they're also supposed to represent all of the unit owners. So all major decisions and repairs are presented to the board, and then they ultimately have to come to a majority vote. Usually, if there are repairs that need to be done, the board will get quotes from multiple companies before making any sort of decision. This is why it's extremely important to attend those condo board meetings if you can. Now, I guess that this could also be spun into a pretty positive light as well, because the idea here is that everyone is working collectively to maintain the entire condo development and the property, which in turn helps to protect the overall market values of all of the units in the development, kind of like a one for all for one type mentality. The alternative here would be that if you owned a single family house, and if you then had a large ticket repair to make, the only person on the hook to pay for that is you, and only you. The other thing that you need to consider with a condo, especially apartment style unit, is that if you want to make any improvements or large renovations to the unit, you'll have to first seek permission from the board to do so. The reason for this is because whatever you do to your unit could potentially impact all of the other unit owners around you. For example, if you go ahead and hire the wrong plumber or an electrician and they screw up the job, it could cause water damage or an electrical fire into a shared common area of that building, or worse, another unit, which would be pretty big problem for everybody else. This is why most condos have very specific rules set in place that will dictate what you can and can't do, and then what items need expressed permission on, so on and so forth, before you say renovate. Now this actually could be also a pretty big positive, as the rules are ultimately designed to collectively protect each unit owner's market value, the safety and integrity of the building. And let's face it, if those rules are broken, there can be some pretty hefty consequences and big fines to pay. So I actually had a buyer client that went through this exact same scenario. He purchased a townhouse style condo unit, and the seller decided to upgrade all the windows and doors just before they put it up for sale, which my client saw as a huge selling feature. It's one less thing that he had to do. But just before he took possession, that's when all hell broke loose. We found out that the condo board placed a lien on the property. So they registered it against title to prevent us from selling the property, which was ultimately removed, but it could have potentially prevented the title from transferring and preventing the sale from happening altogether, all because the seller didn't get the approval from the condo board to install the windows, specifically the ones on the second floor. See, the windows, they looked great. They were beautiful. They had decorative grills in them, which gave the exterior a bit of charm and character, but they simply weren't the right style of windows for the condo development, and thus they had to be replaced again. The condo board and their lawyers, they forced the seller to pay for the removal and the installation of two different windows that did conform with their rules, all because the two windows had grills in them. Now, if he had asked for permission from the condo board or read the rules in the first place, this would have been totally avoided. But nonetheless, the windows were replaced and my buyer client got to move into the property, and everything ended up turning out just fine. But this is just an example of what can happen when you don't follow the rules in a condo development. Some other things to consider when you're purchasing a condo are rules on things like pets and tenants. Some condo buildings will have restrictions on the size or amount of pets allowed within the unit, and then certain requirements on where the pets can go and where they can't go within the shared public spaces or the common elements. With respect to tenants, some condo developments will allow a unit owner to rent out their unit on a long-term lease agreement, but they'll likely require a damage deposit or a fee for the tenant to use and enjoy all of the common elements. Some condo buildings simply will not allow tenants at all, and more specifically, Airbnbs. If these are things that are important to a buyer, I always suggest that we review all the rules contained within the condo documents super carefully to ensure that there's no surprises later on. Again, some of these restrictions can be seen as a positive. I've seen many condo buildings that don't have these specific rules in place. It ultimately leads to the condo building going into disrepair pretty quickly, which can lead to much higher condo fees and repairs down the road. Now, another thing with condos, from a cost and budgeting standpoint, your home insurance is going to be a lot less with a condo than it would be for a single family house, as you're essentially just insuring the items inside your home instead of having to purchase a large policy of home and fire insurance on a single family residence. The condo fees that you pay will typically cover your percentage of the fire insurance for the overall development in the building and all of the common areas. If you're thinking about purchasing a condo, you need to understand that there are many moving parts to condo ownership. You're not just buying 4 walls and a unit, you're also buying a small percentage of ownership in the entire condo development. So it's imperative that we do all of our due diligence prior to the closing of the deal to make sure that there's no surprises down the road. See, in Manitoba, when you get an accepted offer to purchase on the condo, the seller and the listing agent will then go ahead and compile all of the required documents, such as disclosures, budgets, bylaws, rules, financial projections, etc., as per the Condo Act. This Buyer Protection Act gives all buyers a 7-day cooling off period. This is to review all of the required documents and be satisfied with them. If there's a problem with the documents, if there's something sketchy with the building or the development or the condo corporation, you can simply back out of the deal. As long as it's before the deadline of that 7-day cooling off period, you can back out of the deal and keep your deposit. Now, if you have any additional questions about real estate or about purchasing or selling a condo in Manitoba, please don't hesitate to reach out to me anytime, because I'd be more than happy to help in any way that I can. My name is James Boschman. I'm a realtor with the Boschman team and eXp Realty here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and I service Winnipeg and the surrounding areas. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you have a great day, and I'm sure we'll see you on the next one. Take care.